Thanks, guys. That was awesome. Now let's get to talking about some of the standout players from the last week. Going over the last week of action, give me your player of the past 7 days. Who's performed the best in your eyes?
That's tough. There's been a lot of great players. I mean, you could still put Blake Griffin up there for me, but I'm going to go with the man who hit the shot last night. I'm going to go with Damian Lillard.
Okay.
That was a great shot.
I
think people forget about Damian all the time just because of where he plays in the jam-packed Western Conference.
Right.
And I just love the way that his intensity that he shows out there. What about you?
Well, yeah, Dame Lillard is a stud. He's also a great rapper.
Mm-hmm.
But Dame Lillard and Mike Conley are the two guys in my eyes from the Western Conference who will always and forever be forgotten and criminally underrated. Like I said about Conley's coach, David Fizdale, last week, they're never going to be the standout guys because of guys like Westbrook and Curry and the stud point guards they've been battling over their whole careers. But the coaches love them. Any coach would love to have a guy like Mike Conley on his team or Dame Lillard on his team. They're leaders, but they're also glue guys. They hold that team together.
Yeah.
A player of the week for me, I think it's got to be DeMarcus Cousins. Boogie has been on a tear. He's been playing like an MVP candidate.
Because he's getting ready for that trade for DC.
We'll see about that. I heard someone tell me that they should trade for Okafor and put him at the 5 and just let DeMarcus Cousins run the 3. Because he's been hitting upwards of 3 threes a game.
Well, what was it, like 3 years ago he just started, or 2 years ago he just started shooting threes just for fun, and now he's just hitting everything.
Turns out he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, it was the same thing with Blake Griffin nowadays. Like, he could sort of shoot, but not really. They work on it over the summer just to add an element to their game, and now it's fun to watch. Like, DeMarcus Cousins has been phenomenal.
Yeah, Boogie's put up 30 points per game, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 blocks and steals each over the last week of play.
Yeah,
nuts. Probably not even sustainable to be scoring that high and with that assist number from a center. But we'll see what he does in the next week. Rookie of the year so far. That's always a fun race to watch.
Yeah. That's tough. I wouldn't say Lonzo. I mean, I'm sorry. I like Lonzo Ball. He's definitely been very fun to watch. He's definitely the most anticipated rookie. But that's really tough.
I'll buy you some time to think. I want to talk about Lonzo Ball. I think, with me, the problem for him is other than that 29-point outburst against the Earl Watts Suns in his last game before he was kicked out.
What a pun right there.
He's not attacking the basket at all.
Yeah.
He really looks complacent, and you can see it in his demeanor. Thank you. The way he conducts himself, he's a calm guy. He's cool and collected. And when it's going well and he's making the passes, that works, and you like that. But when you're in the last 5 minutes of a close game, and which every game in the NBA has seemingly been close this year, it's been awesome. You want a guy like that to start playing with some emotion and to start being aggressive and attacking the basket, and he's not done that at all. He took 2 shots last night, missed them both. I think is taken. I don't want to mess this up. I think he's taken 12 free throws.
Just 12
this year.
Wow.
Yeah,
he
just
really
12
hasn't attacked the
through
basket
7 games, but he really has not. That's been embarrassing, and that's something that he's going to need to change.
I think for him, it's also about feeling out the NBA, trying to define your role. We talked about that last week with him. They haven't really necessarily defined his role on the court, and that's the tough thing when you're a rookie in this league is to really find your role on a team. Like for some people, they already know their role. Like Ben Simmons, who would probably be my Rookie of the Year candidate so far, nearly averaging a triple-double, as I thought about it while you were talking about Lonzo. But like Ben Simmons knows his role on that team. When you're with Lonzo Ball, that team's so young, and they haven't really had a leader, and they don't necessarily know if they want him to be the floor general or if they want him to be the John Wall-esque, I'm going to drive to the basket or I'm going to kick out and pass. And it's really going to be up to Lonzo because Lonzo has a lot of facets of his game, and it's really fun to watch pieces of them when they come to power sort of or come out. But you haven't seen him like dominate a game yet. He had 29 points against the Suns, but other than that, you haven't seen him dominate a game in every single fashion.
Yeah.
But like going back to my Rookie of the Year so far, it'd be Ben Simmons. He's nearly averaging a triple-double. He's making the Sixers fun to watch. They had a little bit of a rough start, but now they're playing a lot better. Yeah,
I think Simmons is just the right answer. He's scoring 18.5 points. He's got 10 rebounds and 8 assists. But the scary thing, by the way, he's a god in 2K. He's unstoppable.
He's fun.
But the scary thing about that is he came out in interviews the last week saying he was not pleased with how he's been playing.
Yeah.
He's been disappointed in himself and thinks he can do more. even at just 20 years old, having not played a game last year.
He's still growing too, which is insane.
Right, yeah, he's 6'8" at this point. I think he's like 240 pounds. He's a monster. But yeah, I think that's just got to be the right answer for this Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and the sky is the limit for him, and I think it's going to be fun to see him grow with this young team that he's on.
For sure. All right, let's make some predictions for next week. Give me a bold statement you want to toss about the next 7 days of NBA action.
The next 7 days of NBA action. Eric Bledsoe will play a game for the Phoenix Suns. No. I think,
bold.
Yeah, that would be very bold. But my bold prediction would be, that's tough. I'm going to say the Suns start playing more like the Suns we saw in the first week. I mean, that might not be the boldest prediction, but out of all the things, I think the Suns are going to dissipate back to where they were a couple weeks ago. Or just because I don't think they can sustain winning against some of the teams that they have on their schedule coming up, because they are in the West and they are a very young team.
Yep, I think that's a good point. All right, I'm going to pick a team from each conference who has looked good, has looked up pretty solid, has played all right up to this point, but I don't think everyone's bought in that they're really there yet, that they're arrived.
He's about to torch on the Clippers, I have a feeling, but it's okay.
I'm not actually.
Wow,
no. So a team from each conference that I think has a chance this coming week to prove that they really have arrived. One, the Jazz.
Ooh.
They've won the last 3 games. They are
Rubio-led Jazz.
No, actually.
Yeah. But,
Rubio's up in. Or wait, sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. Yes, with Ricky Rubio, their backcourt, I don't know what that was.
That's okay.
Their backcourt has looked really good. Donovan Mitchell would probably be a top 3 Rookie of the Year candidate for me. He's definitely in the conversation. He's looked really solid in the backcourt with Rubio.
He's tough to guard on 2K with my player too.
But yeah, what Mitchell brings to the table, other than his athleticism and scoring ability and defense, is he can be ball dominant, which is something Ricky Rubio has never played alongside a guy who can really handle a lot of the ball. In the last game, Ricky Rubio had 1 assist, but he had 30 points, and they torched. I can't remember who they played, but they won. They won the game big time, and it looks like Ricky Rubio is having fun. He doesn't have to be on the ball the whole time, which he obviously can do very well, loves to do. But I think so. The Jazz have won 3 games straight. They could easily and feasibly extend it to 7, maybe not easily, extend that to 7 wins in a row by the end of this week. They've got the Raptors, the Rockets, the Sixers, and the Heat.
Ooh.
I think they've got 3 games that are definitely winnable and that I would expect them to win, and one game.
Is the Rockets at home or on the road?
I think that's on the road.
That'll be the tough one in that one.
That'll for sure be the tough one, but I think that's 3 games that they should win that prove that they're in the conversation to be amongst the top of their division, and 1 game against the Rockets that if they win that shows they're title contenders to me. They are mean business. And a very similar situation in the East. A team with 3 trap games coming up that can prove they are a decent team, and 1 game against a top of the division team that can show they're for real is the Magic. They've got the Kings, Bulls, and the Suns, all 3 games that they should win, definition of trap games, that can show that the Magic, historical...
That they've got the Magic.
Right. Thank you.
Sorry.
But the Magic, historical bottom feeders, can show that they are to be considered as a playoff team. And they've got a game against Boston that I don't think is unwinnable for them. I really think they've got a good shot at that one. They play fast and they play hard. And if they win all 4 of those... Let's talk. If the Jazz and the Magic win all 4 of those, watch out.
It'd be like 10-2, and oh my god, and whatever the Jazz would be 8.
I think they'd be 8-3.
Oh my gosh! I mean, it's just insane. These teams go on runs, and it happens all the time. And we're trying not to make too big of a deal of it, but it's early in the season, and just watching all this young talent we talked about earlier, watching them prosper has definitely been fun, and it's exciting, and that's the great thing about the NBA this year.